The girl in the well. They warned me. They all warned me. Don't go near that forest behind your grandma's house, my uncle had said. That place is cursed. But I was 13. I didn't believe in curses. I believed in cartoons, PlayStation, and soccer. It was during the holidays. My mom had dropped me off at Grandma's house for 3 weeks. Grandma lived in a quiet village, one of those old places where everyone knows everyone, and things never change. Her house stood right beside the forest. Thick trees, always dark, always quiet. She had one rule for me. Do not go into that forest. Every time she said it, her voice became serious. Her eyes would shift. She never told me why, and I never asked. One day, while playing outside with my cousin Joseph, we were kicking a ball when it rolled past the backyard and into the trees. Let's get it, I said without thinking. Joseph hesitated. We're not supposed to. It's just a ball, I said. We both walked in just a few steps. The forest felt different. No wind, no bird sounds, just cold air. We saw the ball. It was sitting near an old stone well covered in moss. The bricks looked cracked, like they hadn't been touched in years. That's when we heard it. Help me, please, help. The voice came from the well. We both stopped. Joseph said, "What was that?" "I don't know," I whispered. My chest was tight. We slowly approached the well and looked inside. It was deep, dark. Then we saw her. A girl, maybe our age, maybe a little older. Her skin was pale, almost grey. Her hair was black and wet. She wore a dirty white dress that looked like it used to be beautiful. She was standing at the bottom, staring up. "Please, help me out," she said again. Her voice was soft and echoing. Joseph backed away immediately. "We should go." But I stayed frozen, staring. Something felt wrong. Then the girl's face suddenly changed. Her lips curled into a wide smile, but her eyes stayed empty. "Don't leave me," she whispered. Her voice didn't match her face anymore. She started climbing the stones, her fingers sharp like claws. I screamed and turned. Joseph was already running. We didn't stop until we reached the house. We slammed the door and locked it. I couldn't speak. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing her voice in my head. "Don't leave me, help me." At midnight I heard knocking. Knock, knock, knock. I sat up in bed, sweating. The knocks came from the back door, the one facing the forest. I peeked through the curtain. She was there. The girl, standing barefoot in the dark, mud dripping from her hair. Her eyes were on me. She didn't blink, didn't move. I screamed. Grandma rushed into my room, saw my face, and immediately asked what I saw. I told her everything. I expected her to say I was dreaming, but she didn't. Instead, she sat on the bed and said, "She's back." She then told me the truth. Many years ago, a girl named Ada lived in the village. She was kind and beautiful, but she had a jealous friend who hated her. One day, Ada disappeared. Days later, a hunter found her body deep inside the well. She had been pushed in and left to die. No one was ever arrested, but since then, people had seen a girl by the well, crying, asking for help, then attacking those who answered. "She's not a ghost anymore," Grandma whispered. "She's something worse. She doesn't want help, she wants company." Joseph called the next morning. "She came to my window last night," he said, voice shaking. Grandma took action. She packed candles, salt, and a little bottle of palm oil mixed with ash. We went into the forest before sunset. We reached the well. She was waiting. Not inside, beside it. Her eyes were wide open. Her mouth was stitched shut now, but the corners stretched like she was still smiling underneath. She started to move toward us slowly, her feet dragging in the dirt. Grandma poured the ash oil around us in a circle and lit the candles. She chanted something in Igbo, words I didn't understand. The girl screamed. It wasn't a human scream. It was sharp, loud, and sounded like it came from inside my own head. Then she stopped. Her mouth ripped open, bleeding. "You left me," she said, pointing at me. "You saw me." And then she vanished, like smoke. The forest fell silent. Grandma said, "She's trapped again, but only for now." We walked back quietly. That night, I asked Grandma what would happen if I went back. She didn't answer. Instead, she said, "Some spirits don't want peace, they want company, and the more you remember them, the stronger they get." That was 10 years ago. But some nights, I still hear her, calling. from deep inside my walls, from my phone speaker, even in my dreams. Help me out, please! And I wonder, what if next time I say yes? My neighbor isn't human. They live in a quiet neighborhood. It's mostly old people and young families. Nothing exciting ever happens. No crime, no drama, until the house next door came alive. It had been empty for 6 years. Everyone said the last person who lived there just vanished one night. No one knows why. The garden grew wild. Paint peeled off the walls. Kids didn't go near it. Then one morning, there was a car in the driveway. A red car, shiny, brand new. I looked through my window and saw a man standing on the front steps. Tall, black clothes, black gloves, and sunglasses. Even though the sky was cloudy, he didn't move. He didn't knock on the door. He just stood still like a statue. After maybe 2 hours, he finally walked inside. I thought maybe he was a real estate guy or a new owner. But something felt off. That night I heard a sound. Knock, knock. I checked the door. No one. But on the ground was a small piece of folded paper. I picked it up and read, "Do not look into his eyes." No name, no explanation. Just that. The next morning, I went outside to get the mail. I looked toward the neighbor's house. He was there again. Same spot. Same clothes. This time his head slowly turned toward me, and he smiled. But the smile wasn't right. It was wide, too wide. His skin stretched weirdly at the corners of his lips like a mask. I quickly looked down and rushed back inside. Later that evening, I was watching TV when my dog started barking, loud, angry. I ran outside. He was barking at the neighbor's fence. And there, standing still behind it, was the man. Not moving, not blinking, just staring. No expression. I called out, "Hey, everything okay?" He didn't answer. He just slowly tilted his head to the side, like a robot. I backed away and went inside, heart racing. That night I didn't sleep. I felt like someone was standing outside my bedroom window. At 2:14 a.m. I heard it again. Knock, knock, knock. I froze. The sound was soft, polite even. I slowly walked toward the window and peeked through the curtain. He was there, in the dark, facing my house, not knocking anymore, just watching. I dropped to the floor, crawled back to bed, and didn't get up till morning. The next day I called the police. They came. I told them everything. The officer looked confused. He pulled up records and said, "Sir, that house is not registered. It's listed as condemned. It was never sold. No one is supposed to be living there." "But someone is living there," I said. He promised to look into it and left. That night I stayed at a friend's place. I didn't tell him the full story, just said I was feeling anxious. But around 3 a.m. something strange happened. My friend's cat jumped off the couch, arched its back, and hissed at the window. I looked. Outside was that man, standing under the streetlight. His face turned up toward us, but now he wasn't wearing sunglasses. And his eyes, they weren't eyes, just black holes, empty, hollow, no light, no life. I couldn't move. He raised his hand and waved slowly. My friend ran out to check, but the man was gone. That's when I started to lose it. I couldn't focus, couldn't eat. I heard footsteps in my house even when I was alone, whispers in the vents. My dog stopped eating and refused to go near the windows. I called the police again. They checked the house next door. Empty. No furniture, no signs of anyone living there. They said maybe I was just stressed. But I wasn't. One night I couldn't take it anymore. I walked over to the house with a flashlight and a hammer in my bag. I pushed the door open. It wasn't locked. Inside was cold, too cold for summer. No furniture, just dust, cobwebs, walls that seemed to pulse. I called out, "Hello!" No answer. I walked deeper. The floor creaked under my feet. Suddenly I heard something upstairs. Thump, drag, thump. I slowly climbed the staircase. Every step screamed. At the top was a long hallway with a door at the end. Closed. The sound was coming from there. I reached for the knob. Then I heard it right behind me. You looked. I spun around. He was standing there, face to face. Now I could see clearly. His skin was pale, almost gray. His mouth stretched unnaturally wide, and his jaw clicked when he smiled. He had no nose. His eyes were pure black, leaking a dark, thick liquid like oil. I screamed and ran. I didn't look back. I don't remember leaving the house. I just remember hitting the ground outside and crawling to the road. where I passed out. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. The doctor said I was found unconscious near the street. No injuries, just shock. When I went home 2 days later, the house next door was gone. Gone. Like it was never there. The grass was flat. No sign of a foundation. No driveway, no red car. Nothing. My house still stands. But sometimes at night I feel a presence outside. Watching. Waiting. And I still get anonymous notes. The last one said, "You saw him, now he knows you." I don't open the blinds anymore. Because I know if I do, he'll be there. And this time, he won't be alone. The thing in my wall. My name is David. I'm 26 years old. I live in a small one-bedroom apartment in the city. Nothing special, just a quiet place I can afford. At least it used to be quiet until I started hearing the scratching. It began one night around 2 a.m. I was lying in bed half asleep when I heard it. Scratch, scratch, scratch. It was slow, soft, like tiny fingernails brushing the wall just above my head. I sat up quickly. Everything was dark and still. My fan was on. The street outside was quiet, but the sound, it was real. I wasn't dreaming. I got up and touched the wall behind my bed. Cold, solid, nothing there. I went back to sleep, but it happened again the next night, and the next. The sound moved. Sometimes it was in the wall behind my bed, sometimes above in the ceiling. Once it came from inside my closet wall, always soft, always slow, like something crawling or trying to get out. I told my landlord. He shrugged and said it was probably rats. He sent a pest guy who came, looked around, and said he found no signs of rats, no droppings, no chewed wires, nothing. Still, he put out traps and left. The traps never caught anything. But the scratching got louder. Now it wasn't just scratching, it was whispering. Yes, whispering. I know how crazy that sounds, but I swear I started hearing a voice in the wall, a woman's voice, very soft, saying things I couldn't understand, or maybe didn't want to. Sometimes I'd wake up to hear her crying. Sometimes I'd hear her laugh. One night I recorded the sound on my phone. When I played it back the next day, all I heard was static. But during the static, there was a clear voice that whispered, "David, let me out." That was the first time it said my name. I dropped the phone. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in my kitchen with all the lights on. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw a pale face behind the wall. No eyes, just skin, like someone buried alive, pressing their face through the drywall. I started telling my friends. They laughed. "It's just your mind," one said. "You need sleep." But I was sleeping too much. I felt tired all the time, heavy, numb, like something was draining me. Then the wall started bleeding. I came home from work one day and saw a red stain running down the wall behind my bed. I thought it was paint at first, but when I touched it, it was warm, sticky, blood. I called the landlord again. He came, looked at the stain, and his face changed. He didn't speak. He just said, "I'll send someone tomorrow." But no one ever came. That night, I heard a loud bang in my bedroom. I rushed in and saw a small hole in the wall, a perfect round hole. I could see into it, darkness. And then, an eye, a human eye, inside the wall, staring at me. I screamed and fell backward. The eye didn't blink, it just stared. Then it rolled away, like someone pulling their head back into the wall. I packed a bag that night and went to stay with a friend. I didn't tell him everything, just said my apartment was under repairs. But that night, even in his house, I heard the voice again. "David, you left me." It was in the mirror. I looked into the mirror in the guest room, and I swear I saw her face behind mine. Pale, mouth stitched shut, her eyes black holes. I smashed the mirror. I went to a priest the next day, told him everything. He didn't laugh. He listened carefully, then said one word: bound. He explained that sometimes spirits get bound to objects or places. When the wall of my apartment was built, someone or something was trapped inside it. "You must not engage it," he said. "Don't speak to it, don't feed it energy." I asked, "What if I already did?" He looked at me for a long time and said, "Then you must finish what you started." I didn't know what that meant. But when I returned to my apartment, there was a new hole in the wall. Bigger this time. Big enough to reach into. I didn't want to. Every part of me screamed to run, but something stronger pulled me forward. I reached into the hole. It was cold inside, wet, like reaching into a mouth. My fingers touched something soft. Then a hand grabbed mine. I yanked it back, but it held tight. And then I heard her. "You're mine now." I passed out. When I woke up, I was lying on the floor. My arm was covered in deep scratches. The hole in the wall was gone, but I was not alone. The apartment feels heavy now. The air never moves. I never hear birds outside anymore. Sometimes I see her in reflections, mirrors, windows, phone screens. She stands behind me, always watching. And every night at 3:33 a.m., I hear the same whisper from inside the walls. "Let me in this time. I don't know how much longer I can stay here. But I'm too scared to leave, because I think if I leave, she'll follow me."